This is Brandon Bones, and this is the mic test. This is Brandon Bones, and this is the mic test. Yeah, it is. Well, this is a redo. I gave a shot at this last night. It's Coffee with Brandon Bones here tonight. We're doing the Simfed tutorial here on 2K25. We're going to talk about some of the differences and new challenges that this new game presents when you're trying to run a sim federation. I am Brandon Bones, your host, and we are standing in the middle of a nuclear apocalypse. Folks, we are in the middle, in the very middle, we are in the middle of two sets of block finals for the round-robin B2 Climax tournament. Hulk Hogan, the MVWF World Heavyweight Champion, has won the A block decisively. And now we've got a much more chaotic B block coming up here later today. Not going to get into that right now, but if you join us sometime this evening, probably around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be live, Damon Andrews on the mic for the B block finals, and then the winner there will determine who will face the world's heavyweight champion in the finals and go on to challenge, presumably, Hollywood Hulk Hogan on night 2 of Matchmania 777. Folks, I am excited. Hulk Hogan is having a tremendous all-timer of a run at the top of the card here. The 4-inch pythons are devastating in ways that were unforeseen by science and alchemy and magic. Oh my goodness. So we're having some coffee, we're getting a little high and stuff like that, and we're working on Dragonheart Jr. Why? Because, well, unfortunately, the compatibility issues of 2K25, as far as it relates to other platforms and consoles and things like that, is much more narrow this time around. I guess basically there will be no crossover downloads and community creations between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, and I would have downloaded and preferred to have had the NWA's Dragonheart's Senior and Junior Shadow to join the MVWF via downloaded off of community creations, so that I could specifically have the individuals, the creators' actual fingerprints on, the characters themselves, so there's a level of authenticity there that I've always really kind of relied upon and stuff like that. It's not as quite feasible anymore to get some of the boys and stuff down here, but for some of these guys that I've been making for 25 years and stuff like that, like the guys in the MVWO, for example, they know how to make their guys and stuff like that. Holy shit, Doyle is a carbon copy of himself going all the way back to the GameCube games, in fact. The Humanure, the Burning Hammer, if you will, Kenta Kobashi's super finisher. Holy shit. He's used those moves for forever now and relied upon them and stuff. And of course, much of his career, as a top shelf legend, so like his fighting and wrestling style and stuff like that. The submission stuff has probably been the only thing that's truly evolved with Doyle over the years and stuff, as he joined a jiu-jitsu class gym here, nearby where he lives. And of course, things that you do in real life in the MVWF, it will be reflective of your character in the MVWF. Keep in mind, Unbreakable Ryan Doyle is the forever Match Vegas Wrestling Federation's World's Heavyweight Street Fight Champion from Phase 1, when that federation closed down. All those championship lineages were ended, and Doyle was the last champion standing and had been champion for an extraordinary, in those days anyway, an extraordinarily long title reign of a year and a half. And on a win streak that actually began prior to that, the day he quit smoking. I kid you not, man. Like, he was like, I'm going, again, like, He picked up a lot of hobbies and things like that, quit smoking and stuff like that instead. And then from that point where he, I guess did these affirmative, positive changes in his life and stuff like that, went on to pound the King's Road all the way to the very end at that last Match Mania show where he, stood tall in a three-way match at the end as still world's heavyweight champion. A successful title defense on top of that, Anyhow, so we are working on Dragonheart Jr. here, going through his moves. And Dragonheart Sr., in my first go-around last night, it turns out that I wasn't really broadcasting. The PlayStation said I was broadcasting. The clock was running and stuff like that, but I usually keep like a live monitor on like my iPad over here and stuff like that, just to make sure that I've been staying on here. Dude, folks, in those early days of the MVWF, I did not do any of that sort of stuff. In fact, monitoring to see if I was still on and stuff like that. Of course, the stream sometimes had their problems being interrupted or whatever. That first Punishment show is like broken up into like three pieces. In fact, the first three Punishment shows were all like chopped up because of bad streaming issues and stuff like that. So, break the stream, start the broadcast over, break the stream, start the broadcast over, So far, we haven't really had much of that problem. And on top of that, I'm really cranking with this game now because I'm doing like the full resolution, 60 frames a second and stuff like that. And man, the show does look pretty phenomenal, especially when you add that I'm, having some success, and there's plenty to criticize of the live camera that I'm doing during matches and things. But again, it's something different really here that I really want to kind of like freshen up. Hey, Primetime, welcome to the show. We're just doing another Simfed discussion here. And talking about, because I guess with the patch that just hit 2K25, one of the things that I was having problems with during my tournament was disqualifications and countouts are supposed to be off, but in universe mode, like, they just automatically turned on. And one of like the huge, like, steep slopes to climb and stuff like that when you're talking about, wrestling with this fucking game is that the glitches and stuff like that make you feel like an idiot, like you didn't set something up right, or here it is, I'm doing a live broadcast and stuff like that. This channel has a history of me, ready to jump off a fucking cliff because what ended up being presented on screen, like, say, as far as like match rules, for example, wasn't what I intended. Now, I probably did make some mistakes in there and stuff too, so it kind of has made it like, remember what I'm fueled by here, the old 420. But the fact of the matter is, and stuff like that, is that also in the face of that, the more confounding thing too, that just makes it harder to really figure out what to do better, the glitches in these games and stuff like that, that really, mess with your show's presentation. But yeah, apparently that what I'm seeing on some of the YouTube videos by some other content creators, where they were talking about how that count out thing was a thing. I wasn't just being delusional, because I did notice it during some of the broadcasts and stuff like that. Like, well, that's not what we've been seeing. Anyhow. In fact, at the beginning and stuff like that, when I created like the rules for the B2 Climax tournament and stuff like that, I thought I had disqualifications and countouts on. So I don't know. I'm chasing ghosts here at this point sometimes in dealing with some of these games' technical issues and stuff. And again, here it is at the same time kicking my own ass and stuff like that, thinking that I'm just being stupid or high or whatever. But it's actually fucking glitches and shit like that also in the game that I'm also competing with, outside of my own tomfoolery. But anyhow, the incompatibility between the consoles and stuff like that has really led me now to try and do a straight-up creation of both of the Dragonhearts. And Primetime, I'm sure you're familiar, if you're still in the chat, that, if you look at these two guys here, they look pretty authentically like the characters that... if Greg from the NWA had made them, it's on point, You know, like he tended to like the, I don't know if I got the boots exactly right, but like that kind of like Roman gladiator dangling, you know, tassel thing and stuff like that. Of course, the gloves, the mask and stuff like that. I hadn't really like done there's an alternate attire or whatever where he doesn't have a mask, but instead he has a kind of blue paint or whatever and stuff. And I never really used that on any of my shows and stuff like that because I definitely prefer the lucha style look to the Dragonhearts. But anyway, on to Dragonheart Jr. So Dragonheart Jr., in contrast to Dragonheart Sr., they both kind of have a similar aesthetic to them and stuff as far as like the application of like their mask style. So they definitely kind of like, you know, present themselves, at least aesthetically, as kind of like having, you know, a luchador style. So, and Dragonheart Jr. being the Cruiserweight champion, of course, is going to go out there and do shitloads of super athletic, gets him off his feet or whatever. Not gonna go out there and brawl. Not gonna go out there and try and grapple, get down on the mat or anything like that. You know, Junior here is gonna go to the top rope, do a springboard, do a Hurricane Rana, Dragon Rana, whatever. You know, make it happen. Last night I had actually, and again, I thought I was online. But this is where I really like to get into it or whatever, where I chose, and actually, outside of a few changes in there, I think I only added the Dragon Sleeper because, again, Dragon Hearts, Dragon Sleeper, Dragon Screw Leg Whip, Dragon Suplex, you know what I mean? So you're going to keep those types of things going. But lots of kicks. Again, I mean, he's the kind of guy that is going to be in there, not just with cruiserweights and stuff, because Dragonheart Jr.'s story in the MVWF thus far has bled him into, the tag team division. I mean, I would have announced last night if I'd actually been on fucking line, but the Dragonhearts are actually getting the tag team title shot at Cobra Kai on night 1 of Matchmania 777, which means that Dragonheart Jr. as Cruiserweight champion will probably be defending the Cruiserweight belt on night 2. So I'm going through here now, and this is pretty much, I think I'm just about where I left off. I don't know if I got dropkick. Nope, I did some of that. Okay. Yep. Alright. See, now I'm not going to the kick is pretty good here because this is not a very long list of moves right here. And that's again where you may experience some kind of frustration and stuff like that again when creating a guy. When you have a move slot that you've got to use, and you've got a roster of like, you know, something. I think I've got like 80 characters right now on this game. You know, and they all have this one same move. So you've got essentially what you're going to do is that outside of specific wrestlers and stuff like that, of whom one of those moves might really illustrate their character, what you do instead is that you pick the least descriptive move, like the most generic, right? Because again, at best, the thing that you can expect out of that move happening as a spot is for it to be as invisible as possible, considering how often you're probably going to be seeing them performing that move, you know? So again, like if I'm doing commentary and stuff like that, I can be probably talking about something else, rather than like a forearm to the lower back, you know, because again, like that from behind move is probably like this very short thing here, you know, a list of moves. Now, one of the things the Dragonhearts will have in common is that I picked for Dragonheart Senior a lot of moves that were kind of like 2-in-1s. Right, so you know, there's a few moves on there that are like triplets, like triple suplexes, like Three Amigos or Suplex City, you know, stuff like that, right? But there's a host of moves on here and stuff that have, you know, might be 2 suplexes, like a suplex off the top into a Falcon Arrow, you know, stuff like that, right? Yeah, you know what, Primetime too. Another thing that that this game really offers that can go pretty underrated, but if you use it in kind of a creative way, it can really pay off for you. For instance, Dennis the Take a Hitman Hard's finisher is the Stone Cold Stunner. There are shitloads of stunners on this fucking game, so why not give him stunners of a different variety and a different scenario and stuff like that, just to just to keep it fresh, so that like every time he hits a stunner, he's not hitting the same stunner all the time. And again, I'm always thinking about like eye fatigue, right? Because again, the thing you don't want, the most important thing that you don't want into getting this to play as close to a broadcast television presentation as you can, is just that rock'em sock'em robot. You punch me, I punch you back. You punch me, I punch you back. It's the reason why I had to turn off the trading blows thing and stuff like that. That was actually a big, speaking of like hot button topics as far as this game goes. The trading blows thing is nice and all, and I really like the way that it looks. But it does it like every 90 seconds in a match. And I mean, I'd actually turned the slider down to like 1 during one of the episodes of the tournament I'm neck deep in right now, and it still did it. It still did it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like Three Amigos. Yeah, and there's a host of moves that are like that, and those are the kinds of moves that I was kind of categorically looking for the Dragonhearts to kind of represent. Now, I'm going to use like different kinds of those moves and stuff like that. And again, it can be a move that also bleeds into a taunt. It can be a move that bleeds into another move. It can be a taunt that leads into a move, or something like that. And it's another one of those things that I like to do that also, keep in mind, extends the length of your matches. Because again, I mean, you don't want every match on your card to be a squash. You also don't want every match on your card to be an epic too, right? Like that's like the kind of God, can a positive and a positive make a negative? Like in the scientific sense that like if Will Ospreay could wrestle Will Ospreay, and then the next match is Will Ospreay versus Will Ospreay. I mean, it's like, yeah, it'll be some shit you won't fucking believe a human being could do. But after maybe the third or fourth time and stuff like that, So again, like, but if you were to have an epic match, but right before it, right, you had like a complete fucking squash that like surprised everybody and stuff like that. Again, it makes your show more dynamic. Now, this one I'm kind of leaning towards right here because again, another time-consuming move. It's super like, cruiserweight style and athletic, and man, it shit talks and stuff like that. And I think it really fucking plays heavy here because the NWA is still kind of an outside force in the, or at least that's how I've portrayed them on the show. So being an outsider, there should be some taunting going on here and stuff like that. I mean, if you really want to see some really good interpromotional type stuff where the rivalry of the promotional thing is kind of the thing that's pushed to the forefront, man, like during the mid-aughts when things weren't that good for New Japan, the junior heavyweights in New Japan would go to Pro Wrestling Noah all the time, man. Jushin Thunder Liger as not only a heel, but an awesome heel. I mean, just out there just shitting on the Noah crowd or whatever and stuff like that when he's like super sweetheart cartoon show babyface in Japan that's supposed to fucking sell masks and fucking kid t-shirts and action figures and shit, But there he is out there with his middle finger up at all the Noah fans. Fuck all you. I'm an outsider. I don't care what your rules are, And that's kind of, even though the Dragonhearts can kind of do that in a babyface way and stuff like that. In fact, I've actually promoted them as babyfaces, as outsiders. Shadow, who's another NWA character that I've inherited from Greg, or at least from him anyway, is kind of like a tweener and stuff like that because he's just kind of like a badass powerhouse. And Brooklyn Joker is not someone that was created by the creator of the NWA, but Brooklyn Joker himself, who I do occasionally see in the chat. And I just left him exactly as is. The tragedy of this whole thing with the Dragonhearts, though, is in spite of how good their fucking matches are, it seems that Dragonheart Jr. had all of the high-flying default moves. Like maybe Greg picked like a fighting style rather than a move set or something like that. I don't really know. I mean, of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as like actually picking like a wrestling style, as far as like move selection, I mean, that's when you get into what's that shit in the attribute points. We can like kind of basically kind of like pick like, you know, the wherever the fuck it is in the moveset here, that menu where, you know, you'll focus more on like environmental moves and stuff, and you'll do more grapples rather than strikes, and you can reduce them, and, you know. Yeah, right on. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I have it in me to make an accurate Brooklyn Joker that I would be fucking satisfied with. He was in. Greg did a live stream where he was doing something similar to what I'm doing now, and he was creating some characters for his upcoming, you know, return and stuff like that. Now that he's got 2K25, and Brooklyn Joker was in the chat or whatever and stuff, and he said that his guy wasn't quite done yet, and that was maybe last weekend. I'm thinking. And he did mention that he does have 2K25, so I'm just being patient right there, because I will definitely bring that dude back in. Yeah. And again, like when the clashing, contrasting styles can make for interesting matches and stuff. And man, I'll tell you what, let's go to probably the most sensitive topic that I've had to deal with when it comes to, I'm going to say, both this game and 2K24, because I'll tell you what, for me, as far as like in the ring, 2K23 was a fucking masterpiece. Like, it really gave me exactly what I wanted. I mean, and anything that that game doesn't have, I mean, pretty much the only difference here now is that, like, you know, the live camera is pretty fucking amazing. All right, so where is it here? So here's where vitality, regen, cooldown, and stuff like that. The B2 Climax tournament here is part of, like, also an experiment where it's really going to allow me to kind of iron out the wrinkles by doing a much busier schedule, so that I can really manipulate this shit, so that by the time that I get to Match Mania is going to be a fucking blow-away show. And so, but man... high flyer, powerful technician striker. Now got giants. They more powerful, but stamina go fast. Yeah, that's I guess maybe you might have like some default moves right there or whatever. But man, like this whole time that I've had the Dragonhearts, and this is so unfortunate that I didn't realize it, because again, my dedication to the authenticity, I just didn't even look at his moveset at all. And it turns out they've got these default moves, but I mean, they were great, you know. I mean, Dragonheart Sr. stole the show in the War Games match that I had late last year. I mean, holy shit, he was the fucking hero of the show. But again, as far as like getting them to recover in a certain amount of time, so that matches don't always either be 2.5 minutes, 6 minutes, or exactly 10 minutes, which is seemingly almost like a template for what this game would do if you left all the settings to default. Getting these where I can get these guys out there and going out there and having an actual battle, has been kind of a struggle the last couple of games, because again, trying to really understand some of these sliders and getting them to adjusted to the point where I'm actually producing really good matches. I'm getting there. I mean, the matches have definitely been a lot better, because again, my basic thesis on this is that, like, if I have an MVWF match, let's say it's The two standards are what I call the curtain jerker and the standard one-on-one MVWF match, right? Now, the curtain jerker has a 15-minute time limit, disqualifications on, countouts on, so no rule breaking and stuff like that. It's meant to be at the lower part of, the lower part of the undercard or whatever, maybe even the opener and stuff like that. In fact, that's what curtain jerker means in the wrestling parlance. But would they go out there and have a good match, or is it going to be like almost like a template you can set your fucking watch to a kind of match or whatever, right? And again, I'm looking for the variety in the matches and stuff like that. Of course, you're going to get longer matches out of tag team matches, and you strategically place them throughout the show and stuff like that when you may absolutely have to have a long match so that you can get some, because again, look at those first couple of shows in the B2 Climax tournament, right? The first couple of shows, they were like an hour. Right now, I'm doing so many. There's like over 70 matches in the tournament. Like I was cutting off entrances and stuff like that just to keep the show brief. Yeah, exactly. But again, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this too, Primetime, is that like, again, during the tournament, I made the adjustments. The matches started to get a little bit more extended. A little more character was starting to show because the guys were getting to spend more time in the ring. Because also, in addition to that, I'm also introducing two AEW guys, into the tournament as well or whatever. And again, I'm not looking to like bury AEW, but I've got to get Kenny Omega to act like Kenny Omega. I got to get Will Ospreay to act like Will Ospreay. And I think on the second show, Will Ospreay got beat in like 2.5 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me? Nobody would be booking Will Ospreay at this point. Now, again, I don't have complete control of that shit. Because again, there's no predetermined winners, right? So you're going to get what you get sometimes, right? But, and now even late in the tournament, the Hulk Hogan Kevin Welsh match ended by submission. God, it was like 4.5, 5 minute match or whatever, like a complete letdown. Like the champ just fucking cut his throat. Like, did not see that coming. Now, I'm okay with that sometimes, because again, I do like the surprise. But even though I'm not getting, I can't predetermine the outcomes and stuff like that, I do have preferences for the way sometimes of what I would want the outcome to be. Sometimes you can just kind of like feel the momentum sometimes, because again, especially when you're talking about universe mode, where guys do carry injuries and things like that. Now, here in the sliders, though, the vitality regeneration rate, the definition down there at the bottom says this setting modifies how quickly vitality shield will fill up the limit while regenerating. Does not apply to my faction. Okay, now my faction is not really, I don't really even do any of that shit, and I really ought to, because there's a lot of like material stuff, building block stuff I could be using right now and stuff if I just play through the game. But it's never been more like upfront about teasing me about it, because it's just like blocked off when I'm like scrolling through menus now. Fucking obnoxious. That being said, so I've got this up pretty high. And you'll note down here the vitality regen cooldown. This setting modifies how long damage must be avoided before the vitality shield will begin to regenerate. Now, I turned this all the way down because I got desperate. I went looking for solutions on YouTube or whatever. Some of the content creators on there gave a lot of good suggestions and stuff like that. Primetime saying Will Ospreay match got to be 8 minutes or longer. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Especially because again, I'm also trying to make this as like, because the MVWF exists in the real world, right? Like, so I've going back through, if you go back through my menu, there's like maybe like a half dozen versus WWE, WWF. We went against like 1990 WWF one time on one show. So it was Rock Holly versus the Ultimate Warrior. I think we did it at the Sky Dome just to make it even more WrestleMania 6, if you catch my meaning, right? We went face to face with NXT. We've also wrestled AEW twice. We've gone against a Ring of Honor, a 2006 Ring of Honor, excuse me. Which was just an excuse to get Bryan Danielson on the show. You know what, though? I have not... I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that, like, that one setting or whatever and stuff like that, that where you can kind of like assign it. I actually haven't gotten into too much of that as of yet. Mostly because historically the stacking of the menus in the moveset menus here is usually pretty reliable anyway. Because again, you know, I save like the big bombs and stuff like that, like for, you know, strong grapples versus, you know, light grapples or whatever, you know, the bigger strikes and stuff like that, you know, heavy strikes. I mean, they've got it illustrated for you. And I think largely it already does that a lot, at least the way I see it or whatever, outside of maybe the surprising, you know, big move maybe early on in the match. But then again, it doesn't happen enough that where that being a novelty wouldn't really pay off as like, because then wrestling has rules until the one time it's not a rule to make it special. You know, so like if a big man does a high flying spot or whatever and stuff like that. I mean, apparently I heard through the grapevine years ago that Mark Henry, in one of his many sojourns down to Ohio Valley Wrestling when he was on the shit list, could do a moonsault. And I'm like, man, if I saw Mark Henry squish some dude with a fucking moonsault, I mean, that dude would have shit coming both out his ass and out of the top of his head. He would be popped like a fucking balloon burrito. But yeah, but like again, like, or let's say for instance, and of course in the broadcast last night that I guess didn't really make it online, I was also talking about the rare occasion of like the powerhouse cruiserweight. There was a guy in New Japan in the 90s that I liked named Takaiwa. I can't remember his first name, and it's been probably 20 years since I've seen one of his matches and stuff like that. But the 90s for junior heavyweights and stuff like that was like the time of in history where that style of wrestling really kind of made its debut. I mean, that wild style of like Japanese strong style and the lucha style or whatever, when the aerial stuff really started coming in. And then of course, Inoki's base style of his federation for his heavyweights already had like a large grappling component to it or whatever, and the Super Juniors tournaments were such great highlights of, you know, guys that usually didn't get a spotlight getting a kind of their own tournament and their own focus or whatever, and it made them stars, and it kind of gave birth to the wrestling styles that we have today, and that's generally what Dragonheart Jr. should be. So occasionally I've given him throughout his moveset here the occasional power move and stuff like that, because it's one or two that he'll do like once in a fucking blue moon and stuff like that. So if he does a power move against another cruiserweight or whatever and stuff, you know, surprising and stuff like that. Because again, Jericho looked like massive compared to guys like Rey Mysterio back in like '97. You know, he could pick Rey Mysterio up over his head with a press slam while still being a cruiserweight, and that would be something that like, oh, you don't see that every day in this context. You don't see a Mark Henry doing a moonsault, like say off the second or top rope and stuff like that. You know, in that move is completely out of context when applied to his style of wrestler and character. So you can do that every so often to make your matches feel special, because again, you know, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, you punch me, I punch you back. None of that stuff is special if everything is the same. And so I can give Dragonheart Jr. a whole menu of high-flying moves, sure, but if I don't give him an opportunity to do something different every now and then, he'll cease to be interesting. It's like, well, I mean, it'll be almost textbooks that he do. Amazing things becoming textbook is never a great idea. Primetime says, can't cross-gen now. Hard to get certain people. Either make cause for people or download if they're on your gen. This year can't be a lot of federations because I'm Xbox One. Yeah. And that's, again, why I'm deep diving into the Dragonhearts and stuff like that, because, you know, when Greg was live, because I ran it by him, you know, just to see what he thought or whatever, and he's like, he didn't see any reason why, you know, I mean, he's seen the guys that I make and the level of detail that I give him, that why with, you know, and making guys for 25 years, that I couldn't make a pair of fairly standard lucha flair gladiator style dragon hearts. You know what I mean? Like it made their characters made so much sense to me that it's not that hard for me to make them. It's just weird now that I'm actually kind of flying a little bit blind into the move sets here because I don't know. I just don't. I haven't asked him yet if maybe that was how he intended them to be, or if perhaps maybe like did he just create the guy like when he created like how they look and all that stuff and the name and all that stuff? Did he upload them immediately and then not do another upload after the moveset was done? So anyway, so I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and stuff like that and really spruce these guys up and you know, make something really fantastic with them and stuff like that that will, you know, bring something to it. And of course, you know, once he see I'm a hybrid lucha with a twist with yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, while you're here, why don't I just put this on pause for a second, Prime Time? I was super concerned. You were on the show the other day, but again, I wasn't that confident because I found someone named Sean Sanders. I'm pretty sure it said Prime Time, but holy shit, dude! I was concerned that this was just like one of like those default guys or something like that. I didn't know if I downloaded the right guy. Is bottom line. But here we are. Let's take a look at him. The video move set, WWE 2K24 and that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was his suggestion too. Just go to the 2K24 guy and stuff like that, and just, you know, because I've done that before. Like the last time when I transferred over from 23 to 24, there were certain guys. Because again, you know what they do to you sometimes too, is that like if a wrestler leaves WWE. And you've been using some of their moves and stuff, and you recognize them from the name of that move as it applies to the wrestler who does it. But like, say, like Ricochet leaves WWE, like all his moves have like different fucking names now. John Breakdown made you okay. Does the character on screen is that the one that I was supposed to download? Okay, good. Well, great. Because I remember your guy on 2K24 had kind of like that emerald and gold, you know, money and gold kind of style or whatever, you know. Right on. This one to me, it fooled me a little bit because he seemed a little more dressed down compared to the other one that definitely had much more of like a, like I got my outfit tailor made for WrestleMania. He made you too small and forgot your dreads. Okay. I mean, do you want to suggest something right now? Well, you know, while I got you here and stuff like that, where you want me to tweak anything? Because again, bottom line, the thing that that I tend to appreciate more than anything is that I mean, the more when you create a character for yourself, I mean, man, like I appreciate when like your fingerprints are actually on the guy, you know. Okay. So maybe like so that's just regular hair, right? So so you want some dreadlocks then? Okay. Dreadlocks, where are you? Oh, no way. the receding hairline dreadlocks. make you age yourself by about like 25 years. All right, so these are kind of like no. Where are it? No. Where are you? I can't have this one? Okay. And by the way, too, I have not played this game at all to unlock a fair amount of the stuff that's, I guess, fairly unlockable and stuff. I'm pretty fucking irritated. I was like Xavier Woods hair. I think your dreads were a little longer last time. All right. No, that's some silky smooth shit, though. Some poodle hair. Okay, what do you think of those bad boys right there? Yeah, if you want, what I'll do is I'll just do the work, the heavy lifting here and stuff, and I'll just run over to 2K24, which is still on my PlayStation here, and I'll just screenshot all your moveset or whatever, just the way you had it and stuff like that. But again, with this tournament and stuff like that, I've been, the tournament has really been like a super busier schedule and stuff like that. And of course, we're on the road to Matchmania 777, which I can anticipate you being on. Because again, at this point now, I've got 2-0 in the MVWF. Now, granted, I kind of gave you a tomato can because, as much as I do like to go out of my way to make the argument about how attribute points aren't the be-all, end-all, and the B2 Climax tournament is basically proof of that, in that throughout that tournament, Kid Christian won 3 fucking matches. He got 9 points with 51 attribute points in total. He's out there in his opening match, defeated actually won his first match in the tournament against Dan Crane, who has like 85 attribute points. And man, I love that shit. No, I'm not on any social media anymore. Yeah, that shit ain't good. This is all I do, as far as having a presence on the internet and stuff like that. I just don't find... because again, I like my channel and stuff like that, and my recent efforts going into the NWA and stuff like that, I do have kind of the ulterior motive of, getting a few more eyes on my channel, but I'm not really interested in, blowing up or anything like that. I got so much copyright infringement on this fucking channel, and unapologetically so, of course, but largely, YouTube leaves my channel alone. Copyright strikes me every single time I do a show. Even the stupid department store music I've been using during the intros of the B2 Climax tournament, opening match rundown and stuff like that. It's like, elevator music practically, but apparently that's copyright too. Sip of orange soda for the working man. Delicious. But yeah, you can see up in the corner there. If you can find me on PlayStation and stuff like that, by all means, friend me there if you want. I'll definitely accept your friend request. In fact, it was just a few weeks ago and stuff that I actually finally got Greg from the NWA accepted my friend request, so that now we're kind of communicating, through the chat there. Okay, all right, that's what I'll do. Let's see here. Let's give him some new digs. Yeah, before I get into that, I'm gonna have to review the guy and stuff like that. I'm just not gonna go in there blind. I'm just gonna. All right, so at least we got your hair fixed at the moment. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back into 2K24, take a couple of screenshots of your guy and some of his move sets and stuff like that, and see and basically try as best I can to make it a 1-for-1 recreation from 2K24 over to 2K25 as close as I can make it. Yeah. Norfolk, Virginia. All right. So I will. Hopefully, the one on 2K24 actually has these settings done. These ones are ones that I've been really interested in for a long time, and I don't know if anywhere on the surface level do I really see. All right, I'll write your stats down right now. All right, 6'1", 224. Yeah, 231. Your role as far as how I'm going to book you and stuff like that. I mean, I've got kind of like a fledgling cruiserweight division, but I think you're definitely someone that I'm looking more towards. I'm definitely setting more towards you being like a standard heavyweight, so getting out in there with guys and stuff like that. Most of them, the legends of the MVWF, if you know what I mean. We'll go 230. All right. I think the body type is just fine. Well, if you all right, yeah, you did say that a while back too, that you wrestle both cruiserweight and heavyweight, and I'm not against you wrestling cruiserweight, but as long as you're designated as at least a light heavyweight, you can challenge for the cruiserweight belt in the MVWF. So that option will be there for you and stuff like that. Again, and again, if it ends up looking like you might be kind of like a slightly oversized Takaiwa style, powerhouse in a cruiserweight division and stuff like that, I mean, by all means, that'll be a very unique thing to have in that division. I mean, the guys in the Cobra Kai will probably complain about it, but who cares what they think? Let's see. I do like the comebacks a lot. This one, I've assigned this one to a lot of guys right here, but I haven't really seen. I haven't seen it yet or recognized what it is. Some of these other ones, like the paparazzi one, referee bump, that one I'm looking forward to. Bullying and stuff like that. I haven't seen any evidence of that one I've assigned. I've seen the fireball now a few times, and that shit's awesome. This one, of course, is fairly useless, as are some of these other here. Of course, Brandon Bones likes to use the poison fucking mist. Yeah, here we go. AI attributes. This is what you were talking about before in... I guess AI's preferences and stuff as far as resiliency and Iron Jaw. All right, I'll go back and do that. Okay, so resiliency, that's something else that has kind of become a fucking problem in the last couple of games, because now resiliency as a payback is now suddenly exclusively assigned to people with 85 attribute points or more. So that's where we get into the attribute points and my general philosophy as far as how I approach attribute points. Now, I was already discussed. Yeah, you got to be 85 or over in order over for it to work, or whatever, right? But my problem as far as getting most of my guys to that point is that my approach to attribute points is basically surrounded the idea of giving offensive categories like arm power, leg power, grapple offense, running offense, and aerial offense, I actually categorize slightly differently, and I'll get into that for a second, because ultimately what I'm trying to do is to make the matches last as long as they need to. And also make them end in a way that doesn't end with like a stupid kick to the hamstring or some shit like that, which literally happened in Season 1 and was a championship title change. It fucking made me so mad when that happened. It wasn't a finishing move. It was like 7 minutes into the thing. Why did the guy get fucking pinned? I think it might have even been me. You know what I mean? Like, that was just bullshit, right? So I've given everybody like really low offense. I mean, I'm talking to everybody for that, other than in rare occasions, right? But further on down and stuff like that, I've also given everybody a whole truckload of defense here. Now, in fact, I can actually afford to give you even more defense here. Because again, I want you to endure the match as long as possible. Strength is one that I don't really give anybody other than giants maximum strength there, but stamina, agility, movement speed, I might character-wise, primetime Sean Sanders is a young, hyper athletic, like a big, like coming in the kind of the same, somebody like a college football star or something like that, you know, like somebody with some name reputation before they actually became an actual professional at whatever their vocation was, you know. But down here, movement speed, of course. Now this one, I have the finisher and special is, I gotta be honest, I don't understand it entirely. I mean, I'm guessing that special is just your momentum for how fast your special meter is going to get you there. And I wonder if maybe I should probably go through some of the guys and make this a higher rate or whatever, so the specials start flying. But this must be finisher impact? The amount of finisher meter earned from attacks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you've got 5 fucking finishing moves now, and one of which you can kind of assign as like a super finisher. Like Crane has his top rope Pepsi plunge pedigree from the top rope. Like, I mean, that is a super finisher, right? So I would assume anyway that you would have to get pretty into the deep end of the pool of a match in order for that move to even be available to use or whatever and stuff, right? And I would imagine you could probably get there a little easier if I just increased the special meter. But again, I don't want every fucking. I mean, I do want everyone's special moves as finishers to be killer moves that do signal the end of the match and stuff like that. Finishing moves should be the victory. I would say probably, I'm not gonna say 9 times out of 10, maybe 7 to 8 times out of 10. All right. So again, it's not something I really want to overdo, but look what you get instead, right? Like, this is what you get for the overall, the overall totality of your, and then of course that precludes you from being able to have freaking resiliency and stuff, right? Now, again, as an experiment with it, there is, I think Crane may be my experiment. Crane, if I look at him right now. I think I was fucking with him a little bit just to see how it would go with him. So he may have a bit more in the resiliency. I think I might have got him up to the 85 just to see what would happen. But lo and behold, Crane lost his first match to a guy with 51 fucking attribute points in the first round of the B2 Climax tournament. So you know what I mean? So again, I feel either between the glitches and stuff like that. And by the way, the sliders, right? I don't think those settings are exactly a 1-for-1 from game to game, right? So your adjustments, like, they may be categorically called the same thing on the menu there, but how much impact they have when you manipulate the slider, I don't know necessarily if it's exactly the same thing. Yeah, see, Crane has 87 here, okay? Oh shit, I'm in, I need to go to moveset. Yep, I downloaded Abraham Lincoln. Okay, paybacks here. So yeah, here you see, oh, he does, did I not assign it to him? Oh my god, I'm even dumber than I think. No, he's got brass, I gave him brass knucks. But look at it, it's there. Okay. Come back. All right, so I'm going to give him that for shits and giggles here. Because, again, Crane is on his retirement tour right now, so I don't mind him winning up until the end here and stuff like that, because I don't think he's going to... I mean, he'll be in the running, because, again, there's a championship match on night 2, and that is whoever wins the B2 Climax tournament. And there will be a championship match on night 1, a title defense for Hulk Hogan as well. So, yeah, you see I gave Crane a lot more in the offense here, so that I could get him up there, and I guess I thought I had to fucking assign that reversal to him. But you know what, though? Maybe this was the time, there was a point there where I thought I'd move things, and I'd squeeze things up enough to get him to the 85, and I think it still wasn't available to me for some reason or another. Maybe that was it. But anyway, you can see that I've definitely pushed him as far as I can go, because again, Crane wrestles a big man style, so I also don't want to give him all the agility in the world and the movement speed. But of course, in his case, I would give him strength because, he's, over 3 bills. Yeah, high flyer and striker. Yeah, that's fine. Gosh, that's bizarre. All right. All right, why don't we switch up the vibe here for a second?
Grab his dick and twist it! Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude. You twist that dick! Twist his dick! Twist his dick! Dude. Oh my god. No dick twist!
We will go to Baroni on line 11.
Line 11. All right, Rickoculus, let's go.
Hey, this is for the straight edge superstar for bringing back interesting into wrestling. Here it is, you straight edge.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I hope that John Cena does get fired, but it won't happen. And if it does happen, please just reinvent yourself because, brother, you have become ridiculous. Later, dude.
Thanks, bro.
The jawbone hit me 3 times in the face, and then I said, you're gonna get a Vietnam now, mother. And I whipped his butt so fast and so quick, so pretty. I hit him with the Muhammad Ali, left, right, left. I did the Ali shuffle, and then I footballed him in the head, and then I stopped him. And he was knocked out for 22 and a half minutes.
I don't know about this entrance. It makes you look like you can't decide whether or not you want to get in the ring or not. Too dark. Gotta see him. I'm kind of looking for something with, like, where, yeah, the lights go dark, right? But maybe there's like a single spotlight. Damn. That's it? Alright. Well, maybe I can just kind of dim the crowd. Chris Bay? Okay. Wonder if Chris Bay is on here. That's the dude that got hurt, right? I don't watch a lot of WWE anymore. Although I've heard that name, and I heard it kind of like in conflated with, I guess, somebody who got injured or something like that. Or all right, so what is Swerve's entrance on here? Let me. Because again, I was actually starting to talk about that a little bit earlier. You know, when someone leaves WWE, that they'll change, you know, the names of moves and stuff like that. I mean, you would have known them under a different name in a different game. It's called, is that what the entrance is called? Finesser? Okay, let me look that up. I was just doing a Google search on that shit. No. A section. Is it show off? Swerved. Swerve, wet and drive. There. Boom. Right, because I remember, yeah, you had like the fist on the forehead thing while standing on the ropes or whatever. Titantron movie. All right. Looks good to me. Nice. And again, this is something I really appreciate too, because like I so want, if you've got a guy in the MVWF, that your character has your influence on it in some way. I mean, I can tell you in no uncertain terms, man, I've got some MVWF stories that I can share with you and stuff of the fucking wildest shit that's fucking happened. I even told one of the stories on Colt Cabana's call-in podcast that he was doing a couple years ago. Oh, yeah, check it out. Cocaine, baby. Kurt Maple, Kyle Empire. Kyle Empire is a real guy. He's actually a legitimate, baseball pitcher in baseball. Like not like big league or anything like that, but he was like local team here in New Hampshire or whatever. He was like the starting pitcher. And of course, a little bitch ass. I have not worked on him. His attribute points are far too high. But check it out, Kid Christian, 51 attribute points. Beat Dan Crane, his dad, in the MVWF, man. 51 attribute points versus what we saw. What Crane had, 87? Shit was crazy. Oh, I need to get back to Dragonheart. That's the whole reason why I got on here. I'll finish up the Dragonheart here. Let's go over here to kick. And again, Muay strikes would not necessarily be what I would want. Like Dragonheart Jr. being like, out there, being physically dominating. But a clever move right there, though. He can do that to anyone trying to be bigger than him. All right, now let's see. It's a shotgun drop kick. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one because I really like the forward roll afterwards or whatever. He might follow it up with a drop kick in the corner right after that. Now that could be a move right there where the little dog thinks he's a big dog. I might call that the dragon kick right there. And I guess, like, if I were to give Dragonheart Jr. a forearm smash of some sort, where normally if he's trying to stand toe-to-toe with somebody, but the extra cartwheel, give it the more oomph, you know, especially if he's going to end up being in there with Dennis Hart, you know, who's, 289, 6'5", built like a brick shit house. I mean, Dragonheart Jr. will have somewhat of the protection of his legit heavyweight dad, but... Oh, nice. Here we go. Ah, there we go. Being clever, and again, a combination of things that he can do to make it more believable if he finds a heavyweight vulnerable up on the ropes and stuff like that. Oh, you mean as far Dragonheart Jr. using some Rey Mysterio moves? Yeah, he's got something like that already, where there's a couple of like head scissor moves in a couple of different menu areas and stuff like that. So it's different scenarios where he'll do the head scissors and send them into the second rope. That's, you know, familiar-wise, suggesting the old 619 setup or whatever. I don't think so. I mean, it's a nice high-flying move for him and stuff like that, and a great high spot. But there's another one somewhere in the menus here where he just flies over the top rope. Ooh. Okay. I like that one because it's got some shit talk on it. It's like, yo, man, that shit on your lip got some shit on its lip.
What we gonna do?
Don't bogart the Dutchie. There we go. Okay, So I have another move where it sends him into the corner right there, and I think hopefully the game's AI will know to. So I'll favorite this one here. Does it work? No. There we go. Turnbuckle dropkick. See, that's another thing too. Another move thing that you can do to is the blue star, the favoriting, right? I mean, how impactful on the AI is choosing those moves on there and stuff like that. And again, it's kind of hard to see on the surface. It really is kind of hard to see on the surface, like how it affects, you know, the game and the behaviors of the characters when they're in the ring. All right, now, again, here's another one where I was talking about before. I think I've already done these moves here. Oh. Rope hung knee strikes. I don't. Okay, so again, I would not normally give him like physically dominant knee strikes if it also didn't include him tying some up in the ropes right there. But that one, no, maybe not. Yeah, I like it. And again, another an excuse to use it is, you know, the opponent being tied in the ropes. This is a little hardcore technical sound wrestler. Dragonheart is, yeah. Okay, I think Dragonheart Jr. is just about... Oh, you know what? Taunts. These are all default. And I'm sick of looking at this Roman Reigns one over here. Is, where's R? Red Mist. I mean, can't have him breathe. Well, I suppose the Dragonhearts could adopt the Fireball payback. I mean, but they're baby faces after all. At least in the MVWF they are. They're definitely baby faces in the NWA. Oh, and to answer something you had mentioned before, Primetime, if you're still there. Yeah, you're definitely going to be a heel at first. I think that's how we're going to get you over. I mean, the rest of the folks in the MVWF don't really know you quite well that yet. So I guess maybe to get started, you'll be a little more infamous than famous. Dragonheart here is going to get, when it comes to taunts, Brooker Joker and Dragonheart know ya? Don't we all love the fireball? So he's not going to get these Kevin Owens taunts and stuff like that. These are definitely heelish taunts. So I'm not going to give that to young Sparky Babyface. But I will give him ones where he's firing up, you know. It's Andrade. Fine. Okay. Yeah, you'll definitely be a heel. Straight out of Brooklyn. Yeah. I usually don't do a lot of the corner stuff because it's dumb. Oh, you got a coffin match? Holy shit. I'll tell you what, right? I haven't done... I had a chance to do a coffin match, you know, I mean, it's been since 2K24, but I did do two ambulance matches, and holy shit, they were long fucking matches, man. Brandon Bones versus Dan Crane fought for fucking 48 minutes, and then I had to stop a match because it just kept going. God, it was 75 fucking minutes. You can see it. It's in one of the thumbnails a few shows back of Last Call Jeremy Love throwing a fireball on Dennis to take a Hitman Hart's face or whatever. That ambulance match would not end. I mean, it's a hard match to watch. A, because of how long it goes, and B, holy shit, it didn't seem like it made very much progress for a really long time, because again, you know, it's staggered in when you're making progress in the ambulance match, you get one door closed and then you get the second door closed or whatever, but before you do, there's a lot of shots at trying to get that door closed where they just managed to resist in a couple of different ways, and then they started battling on top of the ambulance. Oh my goodness, those matches are just hard to kill. The MVWF also has a history of best of 7 matches and stuff too. Let's take it down here to our good friend Cube. Shit. That was a big hit. Cube was kind of he's based off of that Canadian horror movie where everyone wakes up inside like a maze of cubes that like cubed rooms that have like traps in them that are set off for a variety of reasons. But yeah, back in like, I don't know, 2000, 2001 or whatever, maybe earlier than that, we watched the Cube movie while on LSD. And after the movie was over, everything in the world was Cube. Right? I was like, man, like I could see cubes in the carpet on the living room floor. I could see cubes in the walls. I could see cubes in the N64 games that we were playing after we needed to do something to deaden the cube a little bit. So we played some N64 games, which of course the graphics being so rudimentary, you know, polygons and all of that shit or whatever. Of course we saw cubes everywhere and stuff. That's just anyway. So out of all of that, I was inspired to create this really strange character named Cube. And Cube, for his first match, was against, of all people, Abraham Lincoln. Now, Lincoln was made over Bradshaw on the 64 game in his APA days, right? So the clothesline from hell became the clothesline from Kentucky. Lincoln, of course, was known, actually, in history to be a professional wrestler at some point in his life. Or maybe a real wrestler, I don't know. I mean, in the Carney days of like, come wrestle the big strong man. And of course, he's a really well-trained wrestler or whatever. Or if they've got like a plant out in the crowd somewhere that'll just go out there and like, you know, work it and do the job for him or whatever. Lincoln, I guess, did shit like that. Being known for being very tall and large compared to most folks or whatever. But he had Bradshaw's moves and stuff because you couldn't change any of the prefabbed WWF roster on the 64 game, but you could change what they looked like and their name. So even the Skinny Wolf, who is at the bottom of the list here and stuff, that was originally made over Shane McMahon, which is why he wrestles like a light heavyweight, light cruiserweight or whatever, but all he does is like throw punches and then the occasional shooting star press. All right, well, I'm just about to cut it off here. I'm going to go make myself some motherfucking breakfast. I've got some updates done. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about where the Dragon Hearts are now on 2K25. Again, the incompatibility between the consoles is forcing my hand here to make us some characters, I guess, from the NWA that are going to have to be made by my own hand. Thus far, I have not tried to make Shadow, and I am under the impression that Brooklyn Joker should be available. Actually, why don't, since we're here, let's go take a look, see if he's on the community creations as of yet. No! Well, anyway, this is Brandon Bones, the owner of the MVWF, and I do enjoy talking about my booking philosophies and stuff, and of course how you have to book differently when you can't predict the outcome and stuff. You have to do reactionary booking and stuff like that. I didn't really get into a lot of that today and stuff, but again, I did make a few announcements and stuff like that. So Dragon Heart's got the tag title match at Matchmania 777 on night 1. Dragon Heart Jr. will defend the Cruiserweight Championship belt should he survive that long in the MVWF, the Cruiserweight belt on night 2 should he still be champion. a challenger yet to be determined. And, of course, the winner of the B2 Climax Tournament, which we will have the B Blocks Finals on here later today. And a much more chaotic B Block than the dominant win by A Block winner, World's Heavyweight Champion of the MVWF, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. We have an established A Block winner, and it is the champ for the second time. Because remember, back in the B1 Climax Tournament, champion, have the bittersweet lament of absolutely plowing my way through that tournament as world champion, and after the title match, I immediately lost the belt. And I never successfully defended it once. But I also had this amazing win streak. I won 9 out of my 10 matches in the tournament, including the finals, because there's 9 matches in the block tournament. Yeah. Oh, so you got a bunch of your crew and stuff that. Yeah, they just haven't upgraded on the console and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's another sad fact. Again, the NWA, and again, no knock on the guy and stuff like that. I mean, he bought the game. He's working on it. So he's going to have to find some way to create Brandon Bones, because I'm also currently the NWA National United States champion over there, something like that. I'm the champ. I'm a champ. I'm not the champ. But he's going to have to find a way to make Father Peace on there. In fact, actually, Father Peace, Brandon Bones, also appeared just recently on Forever a Movement, the FAM channel. I actually got my guy booked on their show where he did a Rumble, and then Brandon Bones was randomly selected by like one of those pinwheel things to go on to get a second chance in an elimination chamber, and the winners of the Rumble and the elimination chamber would face each other, and then the winner of that would go on and face like a mirror tournament or whatever that would also be a Rumble, an elimination chamber, and then they pair off to face each other in the semifinals, and then the winners of both tournaments and stuff like that face each other in the finals. But I did not win. I did get selected a second time, so I was all over that show, although I didn't exactly make a very impressive debut. I mean, didn't last long in the Rumble, didn't last long in the elimination chamber. But hey, you know what? For me, this is such a treat, right? Because, like, I know I was just about to sign off, but this last note I'll leave you on is that having Greg book me in the NWA is such a treat for me, because I've always been the booker of the MVWF for 25 years. I mean, I've handed it off to a few other guys here and there on special occasion shows, or legitimately tried to get them to book week to week, but again, they just don't have their fingerprints on this the way that I do and stuff. But having Brandon Bones completely off the leash, I have no control over. And again, if Greg went out there and just beat the brakes off my guy every single week, I wouldn't give a shit. I would probably enjoy it, just to see it, just to see someone else fucking book me and stuff like that. Yeah. I've got a screenshot of some of those federations that you suggested and stuff like that. I have gone down the rabbit hole a little bit or whatever, but when I think right around the time, right before 2K25 came out, and I'm also fucking like biting my bottom lip because I really want to buy the Oblivion remaster too. But if I buy that, the MVWF is gonna fall through the fucking floor because I'm such a fucking Skyrim nerd. But anyway, so I'll wrap this up. Match Mania coming up and stuff, and later today, the finals of the B block of the B2 Climax Tournament. I am Brandon Bones. We will see you shortly, folks. Primetime, hats off, buddy. Thanks for getting your fingerprints on your guy and stuff like that, giving me some suggestions and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to get to it today. I don't even think you're not probably going to be on the show today and stuff, because this tournament is kind of getting in the way of all of that, because I didn't have you made in time to enter you into the tournament. But the finals of the tournament, though, I'm probably going to do next weekend. And basically at that point, that's just going to be like a regular pay-per-view style show or whatever, because the finals of the tournament is going to be the main event of that show. And so, but the rest of the show, there's no more tournament matches to fight. So I'm going to have to book the rest of the show with the rest of the roster and shit like that. And you will definitely be on that show. But anyway, I'm signing off. I'll see you later this afternoon, folks. Probably more closer to the evening. Later, bye.